Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now, you may have seen this mentioned in other videos, especially in the list of required documents when preparing for a catering event. That is having an HACCP, Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Point, or it's also often referred to as a RAMS document, Risk Assessment Measures document. They can be used interchangeably. A RAMS usually has a little bit less information, so we just have the hazard analysis and critical control points document, and we share that. It kind of shows we go the extra mile to show that we do more, so I would strongly recommend doing this. But today's video is how to build one out and make one. So there's plenty of tools out there where you can generate them, and depending on what one you find and where you're at, sometimes it takes more editing than it would be to really get it built out. So it is up to your discretion if you want to use a template. All you have to do is go to Google and search HACCP plan template. Definitely include free to download. There's nothing worse than getting through building the whole thing and then you gotta pay to download it. If you want to pay, pay. I don't want to pay if there's a site that has a free download though. So there's that. Now we're going to go through this not in full because you can see my little scrolling thing here is a bit small. It's 80 pages long. Always have the title of your company and what it is, who last confirmed the document, and the last update. Even if there's no actual changes, I would recommend going in every 6-ish months and just update the date. If nothing's changed, whatever, but you do want to keep it updated because if you're an established company, or let's say, you know what, this is us and it's 4 years from now. If we send them a document in 2027, a document from 2023, they're going to be like, have you guys done anything new? Any changes? They'll keep it updated again. Even if nothing's changed, update it. So we're going to look at the table of contents first here. As you can see, it's lengthy. When you build this, you do want heading and subheadings and all that fun jazz. Go down to a heading 3. Each section has its own points. It should have all your company information, an analysis of purchasing and storage. It's going to have hazard prevention and what you're going to do. It's going to have how you're going to clean, manage waste, potential pests, contamination, and everything. Well, let's get going. Now, if you moved locations, you're going to want to change it. So let's say Blandford Street, Marylebone, London. I think it's a W1 offhand. You'd have the registration number, the company name. We're going to edit some of this live. And then, ta-da, like I said, now we could make it updated 10/12. And that's that. So you keep working your way down. Right, so you'll have company registration, brick and mortar location, contact numbers, emails, all that fun jazz. Who the general manager is. Now, when I opened this opened a little bit funky. This should be a chart. If I opened it in our PDF version, you would see a distinct table. It's essentially the task responsible service provider chart. You're going to have task, you're going to have name of who's responsible. And you just go through it. Again, this looks funky because PDFs and Google Docs and Word docs do not always play friends. So I always strongly recommend downloading something as a PDF once you've edited it, because you ever have to edit it again and it's not the same editor, you're going to have some struggles. These are the processes we'll outline. Again, you're going to do this. It's going to be, you have to cover your full scope. So if you're going to make food, what are the steps involved? Oh, well, I'm going to purchase the products. I'm going to receive the products. I'm going to store the products. I'm going to prepare the products. And I have temp storage before serving. Every single step needs to be covered because at any given step, contamination, error, something can happen. What if you have an error in the purchase of the product? So you receive it and you got to kick it back, right? And you go back to the vendor. If it passes this, and it sits in storage too long and it rots. You're going to have to write it off and write out how you're going to dispose of it, because now you can't use it. All these things. Again, list out anything you're going to prepare at location. List out common allergens you're going to be preparing. Again, dairy, wheat, nuts, soy, fish, shellfish, mustard, lupin. There's a few others, but you want to list them out. You're going to list out how much you're going to be serving per week, potentially. Drinks, what will come in at what temperature, what comes in at what temperature. Again, as you see it, concede my table didn't come through right. And then you're going to do a risk analysis with it, right? So, okay, central water network. What if there's Listeria, E. coli, and all that fun jazz? So you should be testing your water 4 times a year and say you're going to do that. Why is it needed? Well, if you prep something and use water on site and they find E. coli and it's found in the water source around you, you might not be fully liable, because then you can bump it up to, why weren't we informed that our water was contaminated and we weren't to be washing our hands, we weren't to be washing produce because this water was contaminated. But if you don't write this out, you can't prove that you know these things. So again, it's meant to cover you. This is another thing. We built a flow chart into ours. Prerequisite, control point, critical control point. Critical being where the most contamination or error may happen. So this is in prep because human error. What if I'm ill and I'm prepping food and I'm in a rush and I don't wash my hands after I use the restroom? Now all the food I've touched could be contaminated with whatever bacterial infection I have going on. Certain types of hepatitis, they're present in some shellfish. If not prepared properly, you can pass it on. Things like chicken, if you don't cook it to temp and or you don't store it at the proper temp, can be a breeding ground for Shigella. All these bacteria and stuff, you're not going to see it. You're not going to smell it. So you have to know you're preparing it safely, and you need to outline those control points. Let's keep going though. Like I said, likelihood, severity, risk level, and prevention. So it's due to over-ordering. Likelihood, 3 out of 5. Why is it a 3 out of 5? You can't always prevent over-ordering. You might have a usual set amount, and then what if all of a sudden sales take a huge dip? Like it's holiday season, you forgot about it. You forgot that people are traveling, but not in a way that brings you more traffic. They're moving out of the area. Oh no, now I got too much. Severity, 2 out of 5. It can get people sick, but you catch it by dating things. You can avoid it. And again, don't over-order. Label everything. Make sure things are on time. Make sure it's traceable. And if the hazard happens, you inform the proper person. Now, if it's because they sent you too much stuff or short-dated stuff, you need to contact them. That's a them problem. Don't let it be a you problem. If they send you something that you should have had at least 2 weeks before it expired, and now you got 5 days, that just messed up your system. You were predicting you could use it for extra days beyond those 5 days. So you need to contact them, pay attention to those. Again, list the type it is, harmful bacteria and purchased ingredients. Choose people carefully. Be sure they're reputable. You can't just go to random Joe on the street that you see growing microgreens in his window. Don't do it. Again, you are liable. So just be mindful of it. And especially if you're knowingly purchasing from someone that is not a certified supplier, no matter what country you are in, if you get caught, the implications of that can vary. They might shut you down. You might have fines and fees. It might be a combination. Depending on what happens, you could face jail time if someone's hospitalized. Insurance will cover you, but only so far. You have to be smart about it. Let's look at something else, right? Microbiology, more micro. Cross-contamination. You never serve raw food with ready-to-eat food. If you have washed, prepped, chopped salad that you could just take a handful and eat out the fridge, that's ready to eat. Don't put raw meat by it. Don't put veg that hasn't been washed yet on it. Don't store fruit above it that's not been washed. You do need to wash everything. Don't just use it out the package. Leafy greens have certain risks associated with them because of the fields they're grown in. Wash your produce, always. So again, make sure cases are clean. Make sure stuff is stored right. That's following FIFO. That is first in, first out. That is raw meat, bottom of the shelf, ready to eat at the top. If a container can spill easily, towards the bottom. You don't want, again, don't put the pack of raw chicken on the top shelf. If something happens to the package and it leaks, it has now contaminated everything below it. And likely it's going to take some heavy washing and cleaning that whole shelf. Throwing some stuff out, changing containers, it's a headache. So start by storing it right. But again, like there's all sorts of things go from biological, chemical being don't put cleaner above or close to food where it can spill. It should go below a sink on the floor, in a cabinet where if it spills, you just have to wipe it up. Don't put it in a position where it can ruin your food. And again, it keeps going and going. Things like cross-contamination, color code it. As you can see, it's pretty extensive. You need to be able to sit and think about any potential contamination point. Cross-contamination, whether it's bacterial, microbial, chemical, all those bits. Then you have waste management. I just went past it. Anyway, waste management, how you're going to dispose of rotten food, close to spoilage food, trash, all those things. You need to list it out. You list out your wastewater system, where hand washing stations are, dishwashing stations, that your prep sink is not the same as your hand washing sink. All these things. Then you have physical contaminants, bugs going in things, rodents, plastic. Band-aids are a big one. Never wear skin-colored band-aids in food service, because if someone, you're going to miss it. That's why food-safe band-aids, food safe being safe to prep around, not safe to eat, are bright blue. Because you are going to see a bright blue band-aid in the food, unless you've dyed it blue, pretty easily. You're still going to have to toss it out if your bloody blue band-aid is in the food. But now you can see it. Food waste sucks no matter what, but what's worse is being the company that served someone a bloody band-aid. Don't be that person. So let's keep going. So you can see some keywords going there. Allergens, another. Keep nuts with nuts. Don't use a container dedicated to nuts with something else. If someone has a nut allergy and they make it known and you do this, you are liable. They will be charging your insurance for essentially poisoning them. And if they didn't have an EpiPen with them, that can kill them. Even things like being a barista, have an almond milk cup, have it labeled almond, and nothing else goes in it. Soy is a less common allergy. I would still err on the side of caution and have a almond cup, a soy cup, an oat cup, a coconut cup, a dairy cup when you're prepping drinks. Only use those for those, because guess what? That prevents cross-contamination. And let's stick with the barista example. Got your steaming wand for the milk. Clean it between use. Same example. You make an almond milk latte. The next person has a nut allergy. People aren't always going to disclose it because they're going to say any other milk but almond. If you didn't wipe it, they have a nut allergy. Again, you're liable for not properly cleaning. Clean your stuff. Keep things separate. Ta-da! Again, we have pictures in here. Nuts, dairy, eggs, fish, shellfish, mollusks, soy, sesame, celery, mustard, lupin, and you keep going and going, right? Food handlers, how to avoid and prevent bacterial growth, and we can just keep going. You see, we're already down at page 60 here, and we're still just down in hazards and disposing things. So it's lengthy. I won't lie about that. Again, that's why a template's really helpful. You can cross-check it. Honestly, if your document isn't almost 80 pages, you've probably missed things. Because again, it's every potential point of contact with a piece of food you're prepping. You need to have a hazard analysis in place and what could happen. So we keep going. Now we have task frequency. Again, this was supposed to be another little chart. We have temp log, checking fridges once a day. Temp log, freezers once a day, minimum. We have cleaning, all sorts of things, cleaning toilets for employees. If there's a shower area or cleaning, some places have eye wash stations and whatnot, that counts separate. Dishwashing waste, freezers, everything. You need to put the cleaning schedule and rotation in here. This is a summary chart of what we went over above. Again, just shows you know it. Bacteria that can happen in different situations and all that stuff. And it can come down to product quality and scales not working properly. If there's an issue you think that will come up, could come up, you put it in this. But that's all for today on building out an HACCP. Again, the point is to be prepared. Building this document helps you think of all the issues that can happen. But when you start selling and doing events, whatever it may be, you disclose this document, share it with the customer, the client, the government, whoever. Government, if they're coming to inspect your location to be sure it's food safe, it shows you know what to do and you can handle anything thrown at you. It saves you, it covers you, it is going to help you keep it in a place everybody can access and all those things. But again, it is a very critical document. And again, it's just meant to help you. It's meant to help you plan and show you can handle things. Because getting your food safety and hygiene license super important. It doesn't always show you know everything though. This document shows that you were able to take that and you really know what to do. So as always, if you have questions, need help, would like a consulting call to help you build one of these, I encourage you reach out to us, leave it in a comment, whatever it may be. And when you get started, best of luck. Again, it's a long document, but a necessary one. And catch you in the next video.